Hey guys, and welcome to part 2 of What If Deku Had the Powers of Swampthing. And I'm sorry for the late upload. I just been very busy these days. I've had a lot of tests, so I hope you can understand. And I do thank you all for the massive support I've been growing, especially with how fast I've been growing the channel. And yeah, so I thought it's been such a long time since I actually put out a part 2. Well, I only released one part of the Swamp Thing. What if? So I thought, hey, even if people like the Senku What If very much, thinking that it's a very clever one, I thought, hey, well, I might as well continue with this one as well because, well, it's not like it isn't getting love. It's just that I never showed it as much love as Senku because I have personal bias. But without a further doubt, I'm going to move into this What If. Um, so yeah, enjoy, guys. So we pick back up right after the siblings have returned from the entrance exam and being welcomed back home by their parents. Mother, father, me and Izuku have done very well. Oh, is that so, Ibarra? I should say Midoriya. I'm just gonna say her first name's Ibarra. Is that so, Ibarra? That's very nice. I'm I'm very proud of you two. You seem to be very cheerful, especially you, Izuku. Oh, yes, I got to let the plants roam free. Whatever you say, kiddo. I'm just glad you both did your best. I'm sure there was no problems that came up. Well, father, with Izuku's advanced knowledge in biology, I think he's definitely got some credits in that aspect. He was always a smart cookie. Well, from what I've seen anyway. Ah, yes, he certainly is. And with his power, he'd be a great hero as well. You make me blush, guys. I didn't do anything too special. His brother, please do not lie. It is very sinful. Uh, lie? What do you mean? Well, for one of my friends who was also taking the exam, I forgot to mention it to you earlier, but a friend of mine was taking an exam. Her name's Kendo. Um, she was a part of Izuku's test group and saw him take down the massive robot. Wait, there were robots? Yes, there were three small different types of robots, each giving points worth for how many you destroy. And there was a fourth one that was much larger and used as a distraction, and Izuku took it down after saving a girl. Wow, you certainly are. That's certainly quite an achievement. But he puts his hand on Izuku's shoulder and is like, "I'm proud of you, son." And he then he brings Izuku and Ibara in for a hug, and says, "I'm proud of you both." As Inko says, "Don't forget about me," as she comes up from behind. Say, "No, yes, sorry, honey." Then we'll fast forward to the first day of UA. After receiving the disc, Ibarra found out that she isn't in the same class as her brother, as she did not score enough points. Well, she scored a higher score. However, she did not do so well on the theory applications. Because as smart as she is in the knowledge of God, she isn't that smart in the knowledge of the hedonist science. And that led her to be put in class 1B, and for Izuku to be put in class 1A. As he walked up to the door, he says, "Oh, it's quite big. I wonder what kind of people I'll see." And as he opened the door, he walked in with a calm expression, and he saw a familiar face. It was Bakugo. He didn't mind Bakugo and just walked past him and sat down. "Oi, nerd, you ignoring me?" "No, Bakugo, I'm just trying to sit in my seat." "Still a coward as ever, I see." Whatever you call it. I call it passiveness, but you can call it whatever you want." As just being annoyed and just like whatever. As a green-haired girl walked through the doorway and was looking around, then stared directly at Doria before making a beeline straight towards him, then bowing right in front of him. Thank you. Oh, it's no problem. As the blue-haired boy also came up behind her and says, "What did this, uh, what did this young man do?" Well, he kind of saved my life. Did he? Yeah, I was about to get crushed by that zero-pointer robot, and, well, he saved me. Bakugo disgusted and was like, him defeating that with his plants? What do you do, make a bunch of weeds? As before anybody could talk back, he just says, Midoriya turns around and says, "Excuse me, Bakugo, weeds are quite an essential part in society sometimes. While they do kill and often operate extra plants, they are useful for breaking down certain materials that other plants cannot." And then Bakugo just says, "Fucking what, you nerd?" Whatever. What did I get talking to somebody with fucking cabbage head over here? And it's just like, I'll take that as a compliment. I didn't mean it as one, but sure. As Izuku had got told by the plants around him underneath the surface of the concrete. Izuku, he's right there. As then he turned around and was like, "Who?" As he looks on the floor and says, "Aizawa. Are you the teacher?" "Ah, how astute of you, kid. Yes, I am." As he gets out of his sleeping bag and looking very drab and very tired, he says, "It took you all way too long to settle down. If you think we're here to just make friends, you can leave now." As he starts to say, "All right, take this uniform here and go get changed and meet me out in the track field in 5 minutes." As the brown-haired girl stood up from her seat and goes, "But sir, isn't that unfair? We have orientations." And so, as he goes, young miss, we do not have time to go to orientation and make friends. I run this UA is in a normal school, and I run my class however the hell I see fit. Anybody who argues against me is getting expelled on the spot. And don't test me." As he glares around the room, he's like, "I've expelled entire classes before." As they all walk out into the field, well, out towards the locker room before heading onto the field, they were talking amongst themselves as Sue was talking to Midoriya and says, "Again, I just want to thank you for saving me." And it's like, oh, no problem. Wait, how do you know where you're going?" Um, they're telling me." "Who are telling you?" "The plants." "What plants?" "Well, there are roots below the ground, and they tell me everything I want to know. I talk with them, and they tell me if there's a problem, then I go fix it." "What is your quirk? I thought it was manipulating vines." "Well, that's one aspect of it. I can control all plant life around me. However, I'm limited to how the range of which I can control plants. Anything within a 15-meter radius of me, I cannot control. However, I can extend. However, if I have a plant extending or attached directly to my body, I can extend the range much further. However, it is more taxing on trying to control them." "Oh, I see. That's a certainly unique quirk. It's quite powerful." "Ribbit?" "Yeah, you could say that." I just like nature, so I think that my quirk suits me very well. As they all make their way out to the field after Midoriya had a run-in with Mineta. As he was about to leave the locker room, he felt something. He felt something tickling the back of it. Well, seemingly tingle the back of his throat with a nervous feeling. He's doing what? As he turns around and sees Mineta trying to look through a peephole, as Midoriya slaps him with a vine. And it's like, ah, Ibara's been rubbing off on me. As he says, you are a pervert. If you do that again, I'll report you to Aizawa. As Mineta gets up and goes like, hey man, what's your problem? You can look too. As then he gets stabbed in the eye by Jiro. And he goes, ah! As then a plant starts to form out of the wall, then morph. As then all of a sudden it starts ringing. Good timing. As the girls go, what is that? He's like, don't be alarmed, it's just me, Izuku. I was saying thanks to Jiro for doing that. I didn't want to have to slap him again. I don't like hurting others. Don't like hurting people who don't deserve it. As when they got out to the field, Aizawa just says, alright, who got first? Izuku Midoriya, you're up. I'd like you to, what was your throw in middle school? 50 meters. Oh, impressive. Are you using your quirk or not? No, my quirk is chlorokinesis. I see. Anyway, try and see if you can use your plants to increase your throwing power. As Bakugo says, what is he going to do with the weeds? Grow the ball? As then, Midoriya just taps his foot in the ground and a huge vine starts bursting out the ground. As then he lifts his hand up and the vine picks it up. People was like, whoa, what? And it's like, I assume this is okay, sir. It is part of your quirk. You can do whatever the hell you want. Just throw the damn ball. Hang it all day. As then the vine starts wrapping around the ball and peels back and flicks with all the force of it being strained as it was moving as far as possible. As it flicks back and snaps like a whip, it makes a loud, like, crack throughout the air that seemed to send a shockwave. And Aizawa looks at his phone and goes, nice. 1,600 meters. Everybody goes, holy, what the? As he turns around and is like, Bakugo, well, plants aren't very strong in your eyes. If you can snap a whip faster than the speed of sound, you can certainly do it, and do that with a plant that's much stronger than cord. It produces some fun effects. As he starts laughing. As then he goes, you damn nerd. However, he doesn't go to fight Midoriya because he's always had this power. And then all the tests go same as canon however, some of them were aided by Midoriya. One of the tests was unusual, however, his grip strength. He seemed to use a vine and has much of them growing around his body and growing around his arm as he grips down onto the machine, maxing it out. As everybody's shocked and it's like, Jesus! It's like, how'd you do that? I'm like, well, trees are very dense as well as vines, so they're very strong. If I can control them to around my arm, I can use it to increase my strength. As you're just going, wow, I never thought of it that way. I don't like to underestimate plants. They're all beautiful and powerful in my eyes. You sure do like plants, huh? Yeah, my dad said I had a bit of obsession with it as a child and still do now. At least it didn't turn out like my sister. As Benedict perks up, you have a sister? As he turns around shooting a glare. I do, except she'd whip you 6 ways to Sunday, especially during Catholic school. Oh, she's a Catholic girl, I see. Ah, I'm not even going to give you a warning, Minetta. I'll try. If you try going after my sister, you'll be the one getting whipped into Sunday school prayers. And she's like, what do you mean by that? And it's like, you'll find out when you meet her. Well, she attends this school after all. As then, Minetta just starts thinking of dirty things. Well, Midori is just smirking to himself. That pervert has no idea what he's in for. And then we get, after all the testing is completed, Aizawa never said to the students to do, well, he did say he was going to kick one of them out that didn't do their best. And they all lived up to it, trying their absolute best, and he decided, that was just the logical rules to get you to do your best. As everybody just goes, what? Come on. As then everybody starts packing up and heading home for the day. We'll skip to about a week into the new school semester, as then All Might comes barreling through the door. I am here, through the door like a normal person. As everybody just remains silent as he goes, excuse me. Well, today class we are going to be doing a heroes vs villains exercise. As everybody's getting excited and pumped up and is like, now, boys and girls, will you please listen to my explanation before we move out into the field. We'll be drawing lots to see who gets paired up into teams of 2, one being the heroes and one being the villains. The way that the heroes win is if they either touch the bomb or capture both the villains. The ways that the villains win is either incapacitating the heroes or capturing the heroes. Well, I meant villains win against the heroes. Everybody made that clear? Alright now. Clothes make the pros after all. Now let's everybody get changed. As when it came to everybody came out into the field, they all complimented each other on the outfit. However, everybody noticed that Deku's was different. It almost looked like gardening equipment. As there was many pouches on the side of his belt that had a few tools and instruments, and everybody was looking at him like, oh, that's a unique costume. And it's like, well, it's a bit different, I know, but it's meant to keep my support items in check and be able to use them at a moment's notice. He's like, what's in the pockets? Oh, I've got a few seeds. You never know when you're going to be able to use something in a situation. Especially in urban areas where there isn't as many seeds and greenery that I can control. Everybody just thought, oh, that's true. As then, they're paired up, and it is Suyu and Izuku that are put into the team, and well, Bakugo and Uraraka. Well, who'll be better at this one? I'd say Bakugo and Yaoyorozu for this one. As Izuku says to Sue, can I get you to stand back for a bit? He's like, why? well, I know one thing for sure. Somebody's gonna come barreling down the hallway in about, from what I can tell, 15 seconds. After the timer went and buzzed, and it's like, oh, okay. As Izuku pointed out to a hallway. Go down that hallway there and turn left, then turn right twice, and go up the stairs. It'll take you to the room. It's like, how do you know that? Before we started, I threw a plant and I had it grow into the concrete. It's made its way throughout the building, and I know locations of where the bomb is. I didn't see it, as then he pointed to a small crack in the wall behind him, as it was a weed of all things. It's amazing what weeds can do. They can crack through concrete. As he just starts smoking, as his eyes start having a different aura to them. They are more confident and more energetic, as he was about to play with his brothers and sisters of the greenery. As she starts to hop over towards the other corridor, Bakugo starts shooting down the hallway, and it's like, waiting for me, were ya, you cabbage head loser. And it's like, I was coming to show you the power of the green. As everybody was like, power of the green? It's like, you not underestimate the vegetation. And it's like, bring it on, plant boy. As Izuku starts threw some seeds scattered around Bakugo, and a few of them started tangling around his arms. Huh, not bad, but you're gonna need more than that to restrain me, as he blasts the plants away. And Deku gives him a smug look and is like, oh, I know. As some of the seeds in front of Bakugo start growing around his arm and start wrapping around him. And it's like, try blasting this one down. It's eucalyptus. It's resistant to fire. So your explosion's not going to be much help here. Unless you can try and, I don't know, blow your arm off. Bakugo's just like, nerd. I don't need to blow my arm off. I can just blow this tree into tiny bits along with you. As then it's like, I don't think you'd be able to counter this one. As then a mushroom-like substance starts wrapping around the trees. Let me introduce something called Pt.2 delibata, or the ivory funnel. While this might give you advantage for a few seconds, you won't be able to see, that is. As Bakugo's eyes just start watering and he starts crying uncontrollably. And he starts sweating heavily. What did you do? The effects of the ivory funnel causes people to start sweating uncontrollably. And also start crying. Well, you made one fatal mistake, Deku. You caused me to sweat. As his eyes grow wider. Wait, don't tell me. That's right. As he flicks out a gauntlet, and it's like, you just filled the canister. He pulls it back and pulls the pin. All Might goes, no, Bakugo! No! As an explosion goes out the building, destroying and shattering everything in its direction. Izuku, the explosion covered him. As then smoke started enveloping the hallway. Looks like I win this, shitty nerd. Oh, do you now? As as it goes, what? Almost a green barrier is formed out of trees of redwood and eucalyptus. I call this the lacquer chain domain. You cannot break through it with your explosions. Redwood's too hard, and the eucalyptus, I fused them together to create the ultimate fire-resistant and explosion-proof tree barrier. As he says, alright, enough. As he starts growing vines with two different weird plants around them. Let me show you the power of plants. Then two different plants start growing. A yellow, almost trumpet-like flower starts blooming, and Bakugo just starts going mad. Get out of my head! Get out of my head! This is Brog's mania, or Angel's trumpet, as researchers like to call it. It causes insanity and temporary self-mutilation as Bakugo blew himself up with a self-explosion. And when he was down for the count, he rapped, there was one thing to keep him on the ground. This should keep you down for a while. As a small leaf drops onto Bakugo's chest, and then he starts screaming and screaming until he passes out. I wish I didn't have to use that, but you left me no choice. That's what happens when you mess with the power of green. You face the Gimpy. And for context, people who don't know what the Gimpy tree is, it's an Australian plant that has been referred to as the suicide bush, as the pain has been said to be feeling like being burnt with hot acid and electrocuted at the same time. It's so overwhelming that some people commit suicide from how painful it is, and for how long it lasts. Bakugo was lucky that he passed out, as Izuku went and captured him with the tape, and then put his hand on his chest and was like, I'll take those back. As he extracted the small little stingers that covered the plant, as Izuku is immune to this, or, well, he tells it to relax and not to sting him. As they all move onto his hand, and then he puts him down for it to wither away into the concrete. Thank you. As then he walks up and then uses a vine to lasso around and quickly go through the hallways as he sees Tsuyu and Momo in the middle of combat. Momo is holding her ground against Tsuyu, being able to create small trinkets and items to block Tsuyu's path. As he goes, Tsuyu, hold your breath now. As she was in the middle of about to strike Momo, she got hit in the stomach and fell to the ground. Shit, it's too late. I'm sorry. As Izuku covers his mouth and a weird fungus starts growing around onto the walls of the building that he touched. Well, of one of the walls he touched. And people on the monitors were like, "What is that? It looks weird." And then two odd events happening. The two girls start shaking and collapse to the ground weak at the knees as they started making weird sounds. It sounds like they're moaning. As they were collapsed on the ground, started just shaking unbearably and crying out. I'm sorry I had to resort to this, Yaoyorozu. Tsuyu. I'll end this as quickly as possible. As he goes up to the bomb and touches it, and declaring, Izuku Midoriya, Tsuyu Asui, you are the winners. As he then runs over and touches the two on the shoulder, extracting all the fungus spores from the two women. As they start walking back, everybody starts questioning, what the hell did you do to them? Oh, well, this is a new brand. Well, this is a new species that I found while I was researching, and I thought it might come in handy, but I didn't want to use it in a situation unless I had to. I was trying to. The reason why I called out to Suyu to cover her mouth and nose before she got attacked by Momo, and started inhaling violently was this is a brand new discovered fungus called the Dictophora genus. It has no name, but it is known as the orgasm spore. As the girls in the class just go in shock. Wait, what? And the guys were like, "That is that why they stopped moving?" As they look over at Momo and Suyu and just started as they were blushing very heavily. And Izuku just went over, I'm sorry I had to use it. I'm sorry, it's the only way I could get around you. You could have created pesticides to kill the plants. Or you could have created a flamethrower. And I do not like subjecting people or my plants to harm. As Yaoyorozu says, that that's fine. Just try not to use it again. That was certainly a weird feeling. As people just they were wondering why, how did he? Well, as some of the guys were laughing in the class as the guys laughing in the back, and then the girls just gave him a weird look and was like, so you're telling me if any female, well, some people were asking, so if you're telling me if any female inhales that, they will suffer an uncontrollable orgasm. I thought it might be useful in my line of work because, well, I'm not going to be fighting just guys. So I found that was a plant that I got ordered in because it could be useful. I could incapacitate female villains without having to fight them, as they'd be too busy, subdued in pleasure. As then, as the rest of the tests went exactly like normal. This at the end, Suyu just goes, Midoriya, I just want to ask, can you please not do that again? That was the first time feeling something like that, and I do not want that to happen. As, Izuku goes, I don't meant, again, I meant only to use it as a last resort. I'm sorry that I got you caught up in it. I tried to call out to you, but Momo had hit you in the stomach, then you started inhaling it. I tried to warn you. As, before you kind of were on the ground. As then when Suyu remembers it, starts blushing very heavily again, and is like, "Can you please forget that happened?" Okay, sure. And she was very embarrassed by what had transpired, and was very unhappy about what had happened. Well, she wasn't unhappy that she didn't not enjoy it. She just didn't enjoy people seeing her like that. We go through to the end of the day, people were just saying, "Wow, your quirk is very interesting. I didn't think it would be that powerful." As Izuku just says, "It's not powerful. I just use it in the right way. I can control plants, but it doesn't mean I can control everything. if I don't know how it works or do my research, I won't know what these do. I only showed you a few of the plants that I'm able to use. Well, I only showed you, I think, about six of my, well, plants to keep up my sleeve. So, what were those again? Well, we had the fungus with no name, but I'm just going to call it the orgasm spore. The Gimpy Gimpy tree, which causes extreme pain that can last 2 years. People just going, what the hell? Yeah, it's an Australian type plant that is, well, called suicide bush because some people are unfortunate enough to use it as either wraps around their arm or toilet paper and end up shooting themselves because they couldn't bear the pain. And then there was the ivory funnel, which causes you to cry and start to sweat uncontrollably. And I think one of my worst was the angel's trumpet. What happened to Bakugo was it caused him when it growed around him and little particles of pollen as he inhaled it as he was shouting at me. He didn't realize he inhaled the pollen of it, which caused him to have temporary insanity, and that insanity often leads to people who either consume or breathe in the pollen to start having fits of self-harm. As there was quite a few incidences reported online. As everybody just starts, damn, I need to fear plants now. Don't fear plants, love them. They are useful every day. They produce oxygen. We eat off them. We should be grateful that they exist. Otherwise, without plants, we wouldn't exist. As it's like everybody just thinks like he loves plants a bit too much. And then it goes to the end of the day as Tsuyu just walks to the train station with Deku and Ibara. Oh, Midoriya, is this your sister? Ah, yeah, it is. As Ibara turns around, hello, it's nice to meet you. The name's Ibara Midoriya. Likewise, the Tsuyu Asui, but you can just call me Sue. Okay, Sue, it was very nice to meet you. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? I'm not religious, but you could be. As then, Deku just chops her on the head and goes, Ibara, what have I told you about forcing religion on people? Now, I know, I thought it'd be nice if I had another friend. They don't have to all be Christian for you to make friends with them, Ibara. You just don't see it that way. But it would give us so much to talk about. As then he flicks her on the forehead and's like, well, my kind sister, who is very nice and is a very fine young lady, can't talk about anything else besides religion. I know you love God, but sometimes you need to get your head out of the heavenly clouds and back into reality. Go talk. Oh, I made friends with Suyu. She's very lovely. You can try making friends with her too. As Suyu just goes, yeah, Midoriya treats me well, and you seem like a very nice person, Ibara. As she goes, thank you. I hope I can. I hope I can be a pleasured acquaintance. As then Midoriya just says, well, hopefully she'll still be friends with me if incident today never happens again. Midoriya, I told you to stop talking about it. Oh, sorry, it just slipped my mind. I was thinking about the plants. Yeah, the plant that caused me to, the face started turning red. Yeah, never mind. as Ibara gives him a sharp look. Did you use the unholy plant? Ibara, there's nothing unholy about it. Anything that is sexual or lewd before marriage is unholy. Ibara, I'm not Christian, and neither is Suyu, and I did not mean for it to happen in the first place. Well, I meant to use it against another person to try and incapacitate them. So you did lewd acts to another person, did you? As then Midoriya just starts having a cold expression and a chill running down his spine as his face warps into that of horror as Ibara just has a deathly glare in her eyes. You little beast! As she smacks him with a holy cross made of vines. It's like ah. As well, Suyu just giggles to herself and then says, "Oh, it was lewd, but for somebody who rescued me, I wouldn't mind." As then she realized what she said and was like, "Wait, what? Why did I say that? Is it because of that plant? No, it can't be. Wait, but this is where I'm going to go leave it off. And yeah, thank you guys for listening to my what if part. I'm sorry that I put this out late, and I'm sorry I haven't been as active with the uploads recently because I've only been doing one or two uploads. I've just been very busy at the moment, as I said in the beginning, and yeah, I thought you guys would appreciate the lewdness because I don't really go that far in my stories yet, and I thought, oh well, I was researching funny plants that I could use, because I knew, well, since I'm Australian, I had the Gimpy Gimpy plant, which was a very notorious plant for if you're in the bush, do not get caught on you, because it sucks. And a lot of people committed suicide because of it, and that's just shows how bad Australia is. But I started looking it up, and I saw that, and I'm like, huh, you know what? I can work with this. I found that spore, and yeah, I had a bit of flavorful fun with it. But who knows? It might have awakened something in Suyu. But that is for another time. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, peace out.